number 6, I believe. Working on the chain rule, having a great time. Maybe we'll change up the color here. Let's work in some blue. That'll be great. So, we got K of R is, oh, I did it again. Okay, K of R should be sine square root of R. That should be an R in there. I'm just going to write it again. Sometimes I try to use different variables just to mess with the kids a little bit. And, why aren't you working? There we go. K of R is the sine of the square root of R. Whoa, Chief. I don't know what that was. What just happened? Freaking out. Okay. So, K prime of R is going to be deriving the outside function, which is sine, cosine. Inside is staying the same, so square root of R, times the derivative of the inside, which we've done a bunch of times, is 1/2 R to the negative 1/2, which is 1 over 2 root R. So that's number 6. Alright, let's keep going here. Number 7. Let's erase all this crap. Get out of here, crap. Okay, number 7. Is u of x is sine of x plus cosine x. All of that's to the negative 1. So the outside function is to the negative 1 power. The inside function is sine of x plus cosine of x. So u prime of x, the first thing we're going to do here is derive that negative 1 power. So we get negative 1 times the inside stays the same, which is sine x plus cosine x. Nothing crazy. And that's now going to be 2. We subtract 1 off that exponent to the negative 2. Kablah. And then we're going to multiply that by, it would fit right here, but since I'm running out of room, I'm going to put it underneath. So it's times the derivative of sine x plus cosine x. Since there's a plus in the middle, we can just derive those separately. So that's going to be the derivative of sine x is cosine x plus, it's going to be minus because the derivative of cosine is negative sine. So plus negative sine x, which is really minus sine x. And the only thing I'm really a stickler for is I really do not like leaving negative exponents in there. So since we're multiplying all this crap together, the negative 2 on this sine x plus cosine x is just going to force it onto the bottom. So we're really going to have negative 1 times cosine x minus sine x. And all of that is going to be over sine of x plus cosine of x. And that's squared. The negative 2 just puts it on the bottom, and the 2 is still there, so to the second power. Alright, that was number 7. Number 8. Let's keep moving along here. Get out of here. Number 8 is going to be, we got cosine cubed of x. That's the same thing. I'm not deriving it here. I'm really just writing this out. That is the same exact thing as y equals cosine of x to the third power, which is just cosine of x times cosine of x times cosine of x. But anyway, y prime, we're going to derive the outside, which this is old hat by now. 3 comes down times the inside remains the same, x to the second power. And we're going to multiply that by negative sine of x, and that's the derivative of the inside from up here. So we derive the 3, or to the third power, which is 3 cosine x squared, and then we got to derive cosine of x. That's negative sine x. Okay. Simple, simple, simple. Flying through these things now. Number 9. Oh, number 9. I don't even, what does that say? Is that to the 5th power? I'm going to assume that's to the 5th power. So we've got b sub theta, or b of theta, I'm sorry. I'm going to rewrite it here just so we can see it a little bit better. I'm using theta here, again, just to really mess with you kids. It's just another variable. It might as well just be an x. It really doesn't matter. But it's going to be 4 sine of theta. You really don't want to write it as a 5th root to the 1/5 power. That makes it a lot easier to look at when you're deriving. So now when we derive this thing, derive the outside function first, which is to the 1/5. So we're going to get 1/5 4 sine of theta, and now we need to subtract 1 off of the old exponent, so it's going to be negative 4/5. And then we multiply by the derivative of the inside. Now the inside is 4 sine of theta. Now we don't need to do the product rule here because we are multiplying two things, true, but one of them is just a constant, 4. And when you derive something and it has a constant out front, you just leave it there. So it's really just going to be 4 times the derivative of sine of theta, which is cosine of theta. So really you can think of b prime of theta as this negative exponent is going to put it on the bottom. That 1/5 already has a 5 on the bottom, so we're going to have 4 sine of theta to the positive 4/5 on the bottom, and 4 cosine of theta is going to be like that. Okay? If you really don't like doing it like that, I mean, well, too bad, really. But what you could do here in the original problem is you could, since we're multiplying 4 times sine of theta to the 1/5, we can rewrite that as 4 to 1/5 times sine of theta to the 1/5. And now we can just derive sine of theta to the 1/5 and leave the 4 to the 1/5 out front. And really, why it's the same thing is if you look down here, this 4 up top would really cancel with this 4 to the 4/5 on the bottom, and that would leave you with 4 to the 1/5 on top, which is the same exact thing as what's up here, this guy, if you just move them out front. It really doesn't matter, you get the same answer. Okay? Let's get rid of these guys. Goodbye. And last one. You got to be happy with this. F prime of x. We got the trig going on. Hopefully you know these by now. Come on, man. So f prime of x is going to be, outside function is cosecant. So to derive cosecant, that is negative cosecant of what's inside, which was cotangent, times cotangent of what's inside, which is cotangent again. So it's cotangent of x. And we're going to multiply that by, again, I'm running out of room here, I'm going to move down here. We're going to multiply that by the derivative of what's inside, which is this cotangent guy here. So the derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared x. So we have negative cosecant cotangent, negative cosecant of cotangent of x times cotangent of x times negative cosecant squared of x. Seems super complicated, and it really is. We got all these trig functions going on. But essentially, since we have a negative something times another negative, they're going to cancel out and just become two positives. And you cannot combine these trig functions, which kind of sucks. First off, be careful. This is not cosecant times cotangent here. It's cosecant of cotangent. Cotangent is actually inside that function. So you can't do anything with it. Same thing with this cotangent of cotangent. That's not the same thing as cotangent squared. This is cotangent of another cotangent. You're not multiplying them. And then we've got this cosecant squared. So really the best we can do is just get rid of these negative signs, because they'll cancel out. And really, so this is going to go away. And this is really not here. And you're really just multiplying it all together. And there's your answer. That's it. That's the derivative. This nasty long trig thing. Good work.